Welcome. I'm Lou Ann Woodward. I'm the Vice Chancellor here at the University of Mississippi Medical Center, and it is my pleasure and honor to welcome you to this ceremony of Thanksgiving for our anatomical donors. We especially welcome the family members and friends who are here, but I want to point out that this is a day for us to be able to express our gratitude to you. And so many of the people you see around you are students who will be part of this ceremony and part of the message that we have for you today. I'm not a student, but the students that you'll hear from today on the violin and singing, the students who will speak to you today, and if you're able to look around kind of behind the fences and here on the grounds with us are a number of our students. And I thank you, students, for being here. This is, as I said, an opportunity for them, especially, but all of us, to express our deep gratitude to our anatomical donors. These individuals have given the most precious gift of all. They have given themselves. And by doing that, they have touched in such impactful and meaningful ways the students that you will hear from today, the students that were involved with them, in ways that will stay with a person forever. You will hear students make a reference to this is their first patient. I remember my first patient. The gift that these anatomical donors have given to us and to our students will last forever. And it is multiplied many, many times over. Because what the students have learned and what they will learn, they will carry with them in their practice. And that will impact the care of many, many, many patients for generations to come. An incredible, incredible gift. And while we acknowledge and thank the anatomical donors, we also want to say thank you to you, the families, the friends, and the loved ones who supported this decision, who helped be a part of this decision, who carried out the decision at a time of your own great personal loss and sorrow. We know that that is also a very hard thing to do. And we feel it's very important and just want to say thank you for that. 5 of our students today will speak on behalf of their classmates. They will express what the anatomical donors have meant to them as they are pursuing their education. First to speak from the School of Health-Related Professions are Raven Jones, a first-year student in occupational therapy, and Greer Blaylock, a first-year student in physical therapy. They will be followed by School of Dentistry first-year student Derek Burke and School of Medicine first-year student Chris Glasgow. And finally, representing the School of Graduate Studies in the Health Sciences is Andrew Farabee, a fourth-year clinical anatomy student.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Raven Jones. On behalf of the Occupational Therapy class of 2024, we would like to thank you deeply from the bottom of our hearts. The decision that your loved ones made was not an easy task, but for that, we call them heroes. You're probably wondering, why do we call them heroes? There are many definitions that I can give that would thoroughly explain it. However, I will simply define it as this. A hero is considered to be a person noted for feats of courage or nobility of purpose, especially one who has given his or her life for change and investment for the future of others. Your loved one's choice cultivated our class's future, enlightening us with knowledge and realism that a book, an app, or a video could never do. That is why we want to honor their nobility, their courage, their love, and sacrifice on today. As future occupational therapists, it will be our responsibility to cater and give ourselves to those who will need our services. It is understood how helping each other is what keeps humanity, education, and even morals to continue afoot. If it was not for your loved one's sacrifice, we would not have had the privilege to study the most incredible and complex creation known to man, which is the human body, which aids us in helping future clients. I remember coming across a quote that states, helping one person might not change the world, but it can change the world for one person. And I would like to say to you and your family that your loved one changed our world for the better. As we tackle our future endeavors, I hope that we remember the selfless act of service that your loved ones did for us. May it be a reminder that it is not always about us, but about others who need us to serve them and promote a better change for their lives. And again, we thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Greer Blaylock, and I'm the president of the Doctor of Physical Therapy class of 2024. Each year, the incoming students of the Doctor of Physical Therapy class start their educational journey by taking anatomy. It is during this time when we meet the special people who impact our careers forever. These men and women are those who selflessly agree to donate their bodies to the advancement of the study of human anatomy in fine detail. Jim Ron, a renowned speaker, once said, "All good men and women must take responsibility to create legacies that will take the next generation to a level we could only imagine." I believe the men and women that we honor here today have left a legacy that will allow future generations of healthcare professionals to take us to a level that we can only imagine. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you not only to the donors, but to you, their friends and family, for making the sacrifice of placing your loved ones in the care of strangers. We recognize that each of these donors led full lives filled with friends, families, and careers. We honor, respect, and revere them. They were our first and most important patients because they afforded us the opportunity to learn the intricacy of the human body so that we may use our knowledge to treat our future patients. From the physicians, faculty, and students in the physical therapy department, we can never say thank you enough for allowing us to take this first step in fulfilling our dreams of becoming healthcare professionals. We will honor the memory of your loved ones by carrying along the lessons that they taught us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Burt II, and I am the president of the School of Dentistry, class of 2025. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank each of you for being with us today. On behalf of my classmates, I want to offer my deepest gratitude to you and your loved ones for the gift they made by participating in the Anatomical donor program. I think I can speak for the entire class when I say that this has been a life-changing experience. All of the students here today have studied anatomy at some point in their lives through textbooks, websites, or pictures, trying to comprehend the complex topic of the human body. Due to your loved ones' generosity and selflessness, we were able to learn and attain a wealth of knowledge that will allow us to have a better understanding of our patients and become more refined clinicians. Years from now, we will reflect on our time in dental school and this will be one of our most unforgettable experiences. We will remember both how fortunate we were to have this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and how blessed we were to be impacted by someone we will never get a chance to thank. We owe it to our donors and their families to apply the information that we have learned to reach our full potential and become remarkable dentists. Although we will never have the opportunity to thank our donors for their gift to healthcare, I would like to thank each of you on behalf of the University of Mississippi Medical Center School of Dentistry, class of 2025. Your loved ones' altruism will forever be remembered in the knowledge that we have received and the patients that we help in the future. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. May God bless each and every one of you.
Thanks to the university, to the Department of Neurobiology and Anatomical Sciences, and for all of y'all for having us here today. My name is Chris Glasgow. I'm a first-year med student. I'm also the president of the UMC Medical School class of 2025. A lot of things I'd like to say here today, but time is a bit limited, so I will do my best. I often think about what it means to be a Mississippian. For all the bad one could speak about, there's so much more good. I was born in Mississippi. I grew up here, right down the road in South Jackson. I moved away, but I found my way back. I went to school here, met my wife here, and bought a house here. I say all that, but this today is not about me. It's about our donors. To be a donor, you have to live in Mississippi, and you have to die in Mississippi. And the gift that our donors give us is the epitome of what Mississippi means to me. And when I say our donors, I don't mean that we felt like we owned them. I say that because we feel a deep sense of responsibility and a deep sense of respect towards our donors and toward the trust they place in us. One of the greatest gifts someone can give is a gift with no expectations of receiving anything in return. And what better way to do this than a gift in death? When all around us everything screams instant gratification, our donors will never know the impact they made. They will never get to say, hey, look what I did, or hey, look who I helped. This is what makes our donors so special, and this is what makes our state so great. The selflessness of people to freely give of themselves so that others may benefit without expecting anything in return. The very definition of altruism, a practice, a state that I hope to reach one day. UMC trains students from Mississippi to be doctors in Mississippi and to hopefully practice in Mississippi. So the gift our donors gave us will benefit their families and our families. It'll benefit their children and our children, their grandchildren and ours. William Faulkner said, the past is never dead. It's not even past. I would like to think that our donors are not of the past, but are present with us now, a vital part of our education and our understanding of the human body. And not only are they with us now, but they'll be with us in the future with every patient we see. I've talked with numerous classmates about the impact their donor made on them as a student, as a future doctor, and as a person. There's a common theme among the adjectives used to describe our donors: selflessness, generosity, honor, and courage. There's also a common theme that the students use when describing themselves: gratitude. Gratitude for our donors, gratitude for the trust they place in us as students, and for the trust they place in us as future doctors. Gratitude for the gift of knowledge they gave us that we otherwise would not be able to find anywhere else, and gratitude for the ultimate gift of themselves and of their bodies, so that we may create a healthier future for their families and for ours, for their children and for ours. I want to thank you all again, to all the families, friends, loved ones here today. I wish I could just express a fraction of the impact that your loved ones made on us as students and as people, and I wish I could express a fraction of the gratitude that we feel towards your loved ones and towards y'all. A lot of the students will be around afterwards, and if you would like to discuss the impact that your family members made on us, we would be happy to talk with y'all. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Fairby. I am the senior student in the Clinical Anatomy PhD program here in the School of Graduate Studies in the Health Sciences. As an anatomist, whole body donors are integral to my line of work and to my career. I have worked with over 100 body donors throughout my academic career. And since I am not a future clinician, I cannot attest to how working with the donors will inform my future decision-making in the clinic. That is what our previous speakers were here for. However, I can attest or continue to attest to the impact that they have on our clinical students. And to demonstrate this, I would like to read a poem that was published in Anatomical Sciences Education by Katie Clifford, who is a medical student in the UK. It's entitled Confessions of a Second Year. I did not want to meet you. I feared the day our paths would cross, not because of blood or nausea, but because I knew what it meant. Your heart had ceased, your soul departed. Departed? Where had you gone? What had you seen? How did it feel? And more importantly, who had you left behind? These were all questions I had the very first time we met. Although, even if I could have asked you, I wouldn't have because you were a stranger, and that would have been rude. So for the next few weeks, I tried to stick to small talk, focus on the science, cling to the dissection notes. I marveled at the complexity of your body, traced the network of arteries and veins and capillaries and nerves and nodes and fibers. And then it hit me. I knew more about your insides than I did my own. And yet I did not know what made you tick. I did not know what made you happy or sad or angry or mad. I didn't know the last time you cried or the last movie you watched. I didn't know the people you loved or the lives you have changed. But I knew my life was different. This was more than science or anatomy or academia. This was about life and death and giving and selflessness. You believed in something greater, and for that I truly thank you. P.S. I no longer fear to meet you. In fact, I kind of look forward to it. I can't really think of a better way to sum up the blessings of our body donation program than with this poem. While I and the hundreds of other students who have learned from the body donors, we didn't learn much about who they were. In my research, students questioned early on why they needed to spend time with each donor. Then they realized that no one person was the same. This is a beautiful thing that is held over from life. Each person walks their own path, writing their story of their life. And some, like your family members, conclude their story by sharing it with our university students. This story is subtly written throughout their body, and we are able to glean some insight into the past through observing the body, but we do not know them. The experiences of working with our donors is more than about understanding the complexities of the human anatomy and setting a groundwork for clinical practice. It is about appreciating each individual for who they are. Dr. Stone's words, which are written on the headstone over here, by their extraordinary gifts, these dead have taught the living how to touch. Through them, we touch the body of the world. I think this perfectly describes how our donors have touched the doctors of the future and therefore provided life to others. This mirrors Katie's poem about how body donation is not just about science or academia, but life. Knowing the body, knowing the life stories of each donor. I want to assure you that in my time here as an educator, your family members were treated with dignity and with respect. They have become a part of the life stories of our graduate, medical, dental, OT, and PT students. One day, I will join you in the ranks of family members whose loved ones have donated their bodies to science, as my older sister intends to give her body to a medical school. Just as you know your family members' stories, I will know hers. On that day, I hope to celebrate giving and life, as Katie's poem mentions. And for today, I hope that we can honor your loved ones by celebrating not death, but giving and life. Thank you.
The Lord is my shepherd, shall not want. In green pastures he makes me lie down. He restores my soul and leads me home for his name. for his great name. Surely goodness, surely mercy, right beside me all my days, and I will dwell in his house forever and bless your holy name. You prepare the table right before me in the presence of my enemies. Though the arrow flies and the terror of night is at my door, I'll trust you, Lord. Surely goodness, surely mercy, right beside me all my days, and I will dwell in your house forever and trust your holy name. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you are on my side. And even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you are on my side. And surely goodness, surely mercy, right beside me all my days, and I will dwell in your house forever and trust your holy name.
Thank you, students, for your words and for your wonderful music. Thank you. The remains of our donors are either returned to the family or they are buried here in this cemetery. We have a monument here in the cemetery that is placed in their perpetual memory. And it is inscribed, as you just heard. I'm going to read the inscription again. I think it is very impactful. It's inscribed with the words of a native Mississippian and a physician poet named John Stone, and it reads, "By their extraordinary gifts, these dead have taught the living how to touch. Through them, we touch the body of the world." I hope on your way out today you'll take a moment just to look at that. To more formally express our deep gratitude for those who rest here, it's my pleasure to call forward our hospital chaplain, Linda McComb.
It's very fitting that this event is a ceremony of thanksgiving. Recent years and the challenges of the pandemic have certainly helped us all understand the importance of our relationships. They also help us understand the power of gratitude, gives us peace, strength, and comfort. Giving thanks softens our pain, ignites our compassion, opens our eyes that we might see, and kindles in our heart genuine hope. True Thanksgiving unites us as family members of one great human family. And it's so good today to see the families together, see some of the youngsters and then us elders. It's just good to see this as a family event, how we belong to each other. So we come today as part of that family to this sacred space in the midst of a medical center that is devoted to education, to healing, and to hope. We offer our thanksgiving not only for the gift of each donor, but also for the life of each donor. We offer our respect and admiration, knowing that each one was unique, each one loved by someone, each one has a lifetime of stories. We're grateful that part of their story includes their courageous and selfless donation by which they wove their story into the healing story of our community. Wisdom teaches that we grieve best by remembering, not by forgetting. So we remember them today with thanksgiving. We've gathered as a very diverse community, and I imagine we represent many different faith traditions, many different cultures, many individual families, many ages. We're all very diverse, but part of this big family. In respect for all those different traditions, I'll offer you a moment of silence just to remember, to express your own faith, your own prayers, just a moment to honor those that we remember today. At the conclusion of the silence, I will give voice to a prayer. May we enter into silence. Gracious God, creator of life itself, we've gathered to remember with thanksgiving the lives of those who, as they faced their own death, offered a most valuable gift, the gift of their bodies to the University of Mississippi Medical Center for the purpose of health, professional education, and research for the betterment of the world. May your light and peace shine on those persons we remember today. We're grateful for the profound and enduring lessons taught by the gifts of these donors. May these students never forget what they learned about the intricacies, complexities, and the mysteries of the human body and the sacredness of life. Bless these students with a heightened sense of vocation and integrity. May they demonstrate good medical judgments and always nurture respectful relationships with those that they serve, patients, families, and colleagues. God, we are aware that our families are grieving. May you grant them comfort as they mourn their loss. May you give them courage and faith that they may have strength to meet the days ahead. May this ceremony today and the witness of these students and faculty offer at least a small comfort that the legacy of their loved one did not end with death, but will live on into the future. It is with thanksgiving we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Our anatomical donor program is based in the Department of Neurobiology and Anatomical Sciences. Dr. Al Sinning, professor and chair, makes certain that the donors and their families are treated with the utmost respect and dignity. He will now introduce the students that will read the names of those that we honor today.
Thank you, Dr. Woodward. As Dr. Woodward said, I'm the chairman of the Department of Neurobiology and Anatomical Sciences and the former director of the body donation program. Our staff works extremely hard to make this transition for our donor families as easy as possible. So at this time, I would like to acknowledge the people that are running this program. Dr. Yufeng Liu is the director of our program. Dr. Ellen Robertson is our assistant director. Mr. Christopher Grant is our anatomical materials specialist. And our administrative staff, who most of you have probably interacted with, is Ms. Daphne Kane and Ms. Kathy Bryant. They work extremely hard to make this transition to you, for you, an easy one, and to do everything they can to help you. Your loved ones have truly given an extraordinary gift in allowing our students, the next generation of caregivers in the state, to see the human body in a way that no computer, program, textbook, or simulation can duplicate. The donors have taught these students in a very specific way that we as faculty cannot do. In fact, it could be said that the donors are these students' most important teachers. I hope you can take pride and comfort in this enduring influence. On behalf of my department and the University of Mississippi Medical Center, I again thank you for their contributions to the education of these students. Students who will read the names of those we honor today are Catherine Robbins, a first-year occupational therapy student, Denver Harrelson, a first-year physical therapy student, Malin Stratton, a first-year dental student, Allie Paxton, a first-year medical student, and Catherine Vesey, a third-year clinical anatomy student. To us, it is the roll call of heroes, those who saw beyond their own mortality to enrich the lives of future generations.
We remember today Deborah Adams, Donnie Lee Antrim, Betty Bailey, Richard Bruce Baltz, Erwin Baylott, Ann Belk, Francis Bell, William Bell, Ethel Berryman, Martin Basek, Daisy Boyd, David Breland, Fergus Bradley Jr., Barbara H. Branham, Margaret Brasher, Dimple H. Bridges, Sarah Bright, Eartha Briggs, Bobby Brock, Carol Jean Brown, and George Burnett.
Annie Butler, Timothy Byram, Charles Campbell, George T. Campbell, Stacy Kavanaugh, Jack Chandler, Diane Walker Coleman, Donald Creason, Bobby Cruz, Rusty Dindy, Shirley DeRoe, Rebecca Drewy, Joyce Faye Dye, Mary Jean Easterling, Jane Ellis, Sarah Evans, Billy Azell, Mary Kay Francis, Thelma Fink, Betty Fletcher, Virginia Givens, Stanley R. Gray.
Robert Edward Green, Mary Greer, Bonnie Griffin, Geraldine Hall, Jane Long Harden, Betty Lou Hoadley, Benny Sue Hubert, Catherine Hughes, Linda Lewis Harden Kay, Floanne Kirsch, Frances Kennard, Lanita King, Dixie Holt Lewis, Tommy Little, Gordon Long, Patricia Lowe, Ann P. Mahan, Mary Frances Martin, Terry Mathers, Thomas Carroll Maynor, Richard McCarsell, Mary McCauley.
Dorothy McCormick, Philip McCready, Harold McDaniel, Bernie McDaniel, Clara McCree, Jody Melvold, Edward Edu Mendrin, Charles Mooney, Henry Reed Owens, Guy Palmertree, James Calvin Pierce, Joe Philly, Stanley Phillips Sr., Benny Joe Pope, Gladys O. Pope, Joe Poitras, Theodore Pruis, Sidney Ramsey III, Nancy Sue Reeves, Carl Owen Reynolds, Louise Scott Roberts, Willie Roberts.
Eloise Rouleau, Larry Rollinson, Dennis Rollison, Ronnie Rosenbaugh, Bernice Sharp, Randall Simmons, Larry Slack, Doris Slayton, Luvinia Smith, Jimmy D. Snyder, Patricia Stevenson, Curtis Nelson Stewart, Dan Serber, Roland Slick Temple, Mary Louise Switzer, Ida Faye Woodfield, Mildred Cooper Walls, Robert Williams, Larry Wilson, Ernest J. Zenker Jr., and I'd like to let everyone know that today is Mr. Zenker's birthday, so happy birthday, Mr. Zenker.
Coylin Rose Affman, Virgie Barrett, Roy Benjamin Blayless, Sandra C. Boone, Melvin Bootwell, Carol Brown, Hazel Brown, Barbara Brumette, Carolyn Coleman, Wilbert Suevez, Gloria Dukes, George Flournoy, Roy T. Gilbert Sr., Victor Hall, Marvin Haddock, Rufus Hutchison, Sherry McLeod, Joanne Kennedy, Leo McLean, John McLaughlin III, Patricia Leaf, Jesse Turner Morris, William Mosley Jr., Joyce Parrish, Ollie George Phillips, Terry Perry, Lowell Phillips, Casper Pitts, Raleigh Robinson, Sarah Russell, Grace Rushing, Georgia Lee Schwan, Marcia Shell, Dolores Treenouth, Marion Winstead, and all those before them who gave their bodies to the service of mankind.
Thank you. So in closing, I just want to say 3 things. As the names were read and each person's name called out loud, I want you to know that the students think to themselves, what is this person's name? What was their job? Did he or she like to fish? Did they like to read? What did they like to do with their family? The students spend a lot of time thinking about their anatomical donor and wondering so many of these questions. Whatever job it was that your loved one had in life, I hope, based on the comments that you heard today from our students, that with confidence and pride, that you can now tell people, you can add to that list of whatever it is they did and whatever their life was about, that you can add 2 important things. Number 1, in a very important way and profound way, they were a critical first patient. And number 2, they were a teacher. I hope that you will add that to the list of accomplishments for your loved one. And then last, Chaplain McComb mentioned in her prayer that she hoped that these students would never forget the impact and the gift that your loved one has made. And what I can say is, I promise they never will. Thank you all for being with us today. This concludes our ceremony.